Hey guys, welcome to the third part of our Firebase PDF app series. And in the previous part, we successfully uploaded PDFs to the Firebase storage, and we also added the download URL and the file name to the Realtime DB. So in this part, we're gonna retrieve those uploaded PDFs. So if you remember, in the previous part, we uploaded two PDFs, and it looks like this in the Realtime DB. So now in this video, we're gonna fetch these PDFs into the RecyclerView. Cool. So let me just minimize this. And in the previous part, we also created one data class, and we also created the empty constructor for it. So now what we'll do, I'll just close the PDF file, and if you look at the activity main, what we have here, we have a show all button. So when user clicks on this button, we're gonna navigate him to the next activity, and in that activity we'll fetch the uploaded PDFs. Cool. So let's just first create one activity. So I'll click on the package, new activity, and I'll select empty views activity. I'll name it as all PDFs activity. Cool. And I'll click on the add, just a good thing. Cool. Let me just close this for a moment, and I'll jump to the main activity. And here what we'll do, we'll jump to the init click listener, and here we'll add another click listener. So binding, we'll just wait till the Gradle build is syncing. Cool. So now binding dot show all button. I'll add a set on click listener on that. So set on click listener will create one intent. So while intent, this will be intent. So we'll first pass the context as this, and then the all PDFs activity class.java. Cool. Then I'll just call the start activity function. I'll pass the intent. Cool. So we'll not finish this activity, as we also want the user to come back on the main activity. Cool. So this way it will navigate the user to the another activity, which is all PDFs activity. So now I'll jump to this activity, and we'll close the main activity and activity main. Cool. So here what we'll do, first of all, we'll add an RecyclerView, as we only need RecyclerView in this activity. So I'll keep it width and height as 0 dp. So 0 dp 0 dp. Cool. Then I'll constraint it, so horizontal in parent and vertical in parent. I'll give it an ID. So ID, I'll just name it as a PDFs RecyclerView. Cool. So then in the activity all PDFs activity, first we'll create one late init var. So private late init var, and binding, this should be equals to activity all PDFs binding. We'll initialize the binding over here. So binding equals to activity all PDFs binding dot inflate, and I'll pass the layout inflator, and instead of the layout, we'll just write binding dot root here to set the content view. Cool. So yeah, the activity all PDFs is done, and I have also added the each PDF item for our adapter. So it is simple, pretty simple. Just an card view, then the image view, and then the text, which will be file name, of course, and this will be static. Cool. So I have added this drawable from the vector asset. So in order to add this, you can just click on the new vector asset and search for file here, and you can select this, or you can use any asset you want, or you can also use any external image. Cool. So each PDF item, then in the all PDFs activity, we can just add some properties to RecyclerView. So I'll call one function which will be init RecyclerView, and this will be write fun init RecyclerView. and here we can just write binding dot PDF's recycler view, so it has fixed size. We'll pass the true. Binding dot PDF's recycler view, the layout manager. So I hope in the thumbnail you have already guessed, we'll use grid layout manager here. So grid layout manager, and in here we need to pass the context and the span count. So we want display 2 items. Cool. So span count is done, and we can come back here later. So first of all, let's just create an adapter. So I'll create another Kotlin class, which will be I'll just name it as a PDF files adapter. Cool. So this will extend the list adapter. We'll be using list adapter for this, and we need to pass the data class over here and the view holder class here. Okay, so let's just first create the view holder class. So in a class PDF files view holder, and he will pass at val binding of each PDF item binding, and then we'll inherit from a RecyclerView dot view holder, and we need to pass the binding dot root over there. Cool. And in this we'll just create one function which will be bind, and he will pass the data which will be of type PDF file. Cool. We'll come back here later. Let's just first pass this over here, and we need to import it as it is from the inner class. Cool. So now we are remaining with the diff util. So we need to create one diff callback in order to make this list adapter work. So diff util is actually a comparator which works internally for list adapter to calculate the difference between a current list and the modified list. So I'm not gonna get deeper into the list adapter and the diff utils. I have already covered one video on that, so you can check out that video. So for now, just consider it as a comparator which compares the list. Cool. So let's just create one class which will be PDF diff callback, and this will inherit from or extend diff util dot item callback, and here we need to specify the model or data class. Cool. And let's just click on this alt enter to implement the two functions which has the R items the same and R contains the same. Cool. So for this we need to return the boolean, so we can just use Kotlin way. So here what we'll do, I'll just write old item dot download URL is equals to new item dot download URL. Cool. In our case the download URL will be different, so we'll just check with the download URL, and then diff util can work internally. It will check for the download URL of two items, and it will match the current list and the modified list. Cool. So that's the internal work, and here we can just write old item equals to new item. Cool. So now we just need to pass the diff callback over here. So why this is giving me an error? Okay, so yeah, we import the wrong list adapter, so let me just remove it and import it again. So we need to import the Android X RecyclerView.widget list adapter, and this will be happy. So now I'll just press alt enter to implement the functions which are on create view holder and on bind view holder. So in the on create view holder, what we'll do, we'll create or we'll initialize the binding. So this will be of each item binding dot inflate. We'll pass the layout inflator. Then here we'll write parent dot context, then comma the view group which is parent, and attached to root, attached to parent will be false. From here we can just return the view holder that we just created, and in that view holder we need to pass the binding. Cool. And in the on bind view holder, you can just call holder dot bind function, and here we can write get item from this position. Cool. And now in the bind function, what we need to do, we just need to set the text view, which is file name, because later we will be implementing the on click listener on this item, and will display, or we will render the PDF in another activity. Cool. So here what we can do, we can just write binding dot file name dot text. This will be equals to data dot file name. Cool. So this will be happy, and we can also create one init block over here. So init, and here we can add the binding dot root dot set on click listener. Cool. So we'll come back here later when we are done with the retrieving part. Cool. So now we just need to work on the all PDFs activity, and we need to get the data. Okay, so let me just open the main activity, and from here we can just copy this stuff, which is database reference. I'll paste it over here. We'll also copy its initialization, so init, and yeah, this one. We don't need storage reference in the all PDFs activity, as we are getting the data from the database reference. Cool. So then we can just call on function which will be get all PDFs. Cool. And we'll create that function over here. So write fun get all PDFs. And before working on the get all PDFs, we can just create one adapter instance. So private gradient var adapter PDFs file adapter. We can initialize it over here, or we can just initialize it over the init RecyclerView. So adapter equals to PDFs files adapter. Cool. And now we can solely work on this get all PDFs. Okay, so here what we need to do, I'll call the database reference instance, and there are several functions in order to get the data. So get is one of the functions, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna use the add value event listener, which observe the changes in the real-time DB. So we're gonna use this. Again, we have add listener for single value event and child event listeners. I have also covered this in my Firebase series. So for now we are just using this add value event listener. So in here, as you can see, we need to pass one listener. So what I'll do, I'll write object, and this is value event listener. Cool. And this is giving us an error, so we just need to implement the members. So implement these two members, which is on data change and on cancel. Cool. So in the on cancelled, what we can do, we can just show the error. So I'll just write toast dot make text. I'll pass the context, so this, and error dot message dot to string, and the length short dot show. Alright, so we just need to write here this @ all PDFs activity, as we are in the on cancelled function. And if you look at the UI, we also have one progress bar. Okay, we didn't add one progress bar, we just add the progress bar here, or we can just copy it from the main activity. So okay, there is a horizontal progress bar, so let's just have one progress bar which will be circular. So wrap content, and indeterminate tint. So we'll use the primary color. Cool. Let's just provide it an ID. So ID will be progress bar. We can constrain it vertical in parent and horizontal in parent. Cool. So this will be visible at the start and we'll make it invisible when there is some issue or we successfully fetch the data. So binding.progressBar.visibility, we'll make its view dot gone. Cool. And also we'll copy this line and we'll paste it over here. Cool. So now we just need to play with the data. Okay, so in this snapshot we'll get everything from the real-time DB. So we just need to get this much of data from the this data from this inside the PDFs. We want to get this data and we need to display it in the RecyclerView. So in order to get that data, what you can do, we just need to write snapshot dot children. So from these PDFs we want to access its children's, and as this is iterable we can just use for each loop here, and I'll create one val which will be PDF file, and this will be equals to it.getValue. We'll use getValue function in order to parse our data. So let's just write getValue, and you can see we can pass the class that we want our data to be get parsed. So I'll pass the PDF file class.java, and what we'll do, let's just create one temp list over here. So val temp list, and this will be of type mutable list of PDF file. Cool. And you can just add the data to this temp list PDF file. Cool. And as it is nullable, it will give us a warning. Cool. And then what we can do, we can just call our adapter dot submit list function, and here we can, I guess submit data is there. Okay, submit list, and we can pass the temp list. Cool. And what we can do, we can have one condition if the temp list is empty. So if the temp list is empty, we can display the toast. So we'll just copy this toast from here and paste it over here. So instead of this message, it will be like no data found. Cool. So I guess everything is fine. So now let's just run the app and we'll see it's working or not. So our application has been installed, and in the previous part we already uploaded the 2 PDFs, and as you can see they are here as well. So let's just click on the show all, and permission denied. Cool. So what we need to do, we just need to go to the rules, and yeah, we can play with this state. So we can just make it read write true, or you can set the time. So what I'll do, I'll just make it true as we are in the test mode, but in the production app you should write the rules according to your requirement. So true, and I'll just publish this, can dismiss it. Cool. So let's just try to fetch the data again. So I'll just click on the back, click on the show all, and nothing found. Okay, so I guess in the RecyclerView we didn't set up the adapter to the RecyclerView. So let's just try it, binding.RecyclerView dot adapter and equals to adapter. Let's just try to run the app again. So again it is installed, and now I click on the show all button, and yeah, so cool, this is working. So let's just minimize this, and what we can do now, we can just add interface to this click listener. So at the bottom what I can do, I can create one interface. Let's just name it as PDF click listener, and here will have one function on PDF clicked, and here we can pass the PDF file. So PDF file, and let's just pass this into the constructor of our class. So write val listener, this will be of type PDF click listener, I misspelled the listener. Cool. So here we can do what? We can just write listener dot the on PDF clicked function, and here we can just call one function which is get item, and we can get the position with the help of adapt position. Yeah, this will be happy. So now if you go to the all PDFs activity, it will shows an error. It will ask us for this parameter, so I'll pass this, and now it will ask us to implement that function we created, the interface function which is on PDF clicked. And similarly, what we can do, we can create one intent over here. So intent. So from this activity to the activity that we'll create now, so let's just create one activity which will be empty waves activity, and we'll name it as PDF viewer activity. We'll just add it to the get all PDFs activity, and here we can just pass the PDF viewer activity class.java. Cool. And with this intent, we're gonna pass the data, so put extra. We'll also pass the file name, so just instead of creating it parsable, let's just pass these two parameters with the help of intent. So file name, and I'll just duplicate this. This will be download URL. I'll copy the exact file name, exact variable name. Cool. So if we had multiple parameters, we could have make this class as a parsable and then pass it with the intent, but for two parameters I'm just gonna pass it with these put extras. Cool. And then we can just call the function which is start activity, and we'll pass the intent over there. So yeah, in the next part we'll work on this PDF viewer activity, and we will render the PDF in this activity with the help of library. So yeah, that's it for this video. Do subscribe, and thank you for watching.